The First Amendment is incredibly pivotal to every citizen in America. The ability to express yourself, practice your religion, spread your ideas, and petition the government if needed can be stopped at any moment for any public school student. An administrator or a teacher can say, well, I am saying to you right now as disruptive to a class and stop my speech at any moment. My name is Matthew Nichols, and the First Amendment guarantees 5 rights to every citizen in the United States. The ability to practice your religion, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom to protest, and the freedom to petition the government. The suppression faced in public schools is heavy. Although we do retain some of our rights, mainly the freedom of speech, the press, and religion are all suppressed in the public schools. Now, our solution for this is a full understanding of the ruling of Supreme Courts in cases such as Tinker versus Des Moines, and strict reading of the Constitution will allow clear lines to be placed of what is restricted and why it is restricted. As stated before, one of the main cases cited by schools is Tinker versus Des Moines. The final ruling in this case, in order to justify the suppression of speech, the school officials must be able to prove that the conduct in question would materially and substantially interfere with the operation of the school. Now, the problem with this ruling is it is incredibly broad and sets no clear defining points. What would happen, as in this case itself, if I came to school wearing a black armband? This would not interfere with anyone else's daily activity. This is just a piece of clothing for anyone's knowledge. But if a teacher would say, this can cause conversation that's not needed and disrupts the class, I can be reprimanded, such as in this case where the Tinker siblings were suspended from school. Another one of the suppressions is the freedom of speech. A newspaper for the school is a very easy way to spread what is happening within the school, school events, and ideas. Although administration control can easily block publications of ideas they do not agree with. This was seen happening in Stuyvesant High School, where students were posting multiple articles on the way teachers were teaching and the teacher board itself. This created a forceful administration approval process that blocked many of the students' articles from being published. And finally, the freedom of religion. Religion is fundamental to many people and adjusts the way we live our very lives. Due to public schools, many of the time religion is kept to private conversation and is not fully expressed in an area where learning is absolutely pivotal. Now, there is an argument that student safety and these restrictions are connected. This is true, as we do need to create a safe learning environment for all students. But this does not outweigh the right of the students as a whole as American citizens. This will also lead into our future lives, where if we are not comfortable sharing our ideas in school, a place where we are to learn, how are we able to express them in our lives outside of school? Thank you. What questions do you have?
All right, 2 questions for you. First up, what evidence did you gather that you did not use, and then why didn't you use it?
I gathered some pieces such as the definition of slander and the time, place, manner restrictions, as I believe I did touch on them throughout the presentation. I did not need to precisely source them, such as in the freedom of the press case. I did talk about how students were they were speaking on how teachers were teaching and whether if they agreed with them or not, and that also went along with slander.
All right, and then second question. What advice would you have for others that are other researchers who are considering this topic?
I would say first start with the broad perspective of the First Amendment, how it relates to every citizen in the United States, not only students. And then after that, look at the restrictions first you face in public schools in your area, then broader public schools, and focus not only on a student's perspective, but also teacher perspective, as that also relates to education.
All right, you're good.